Chachamim, Amen. As you know, as you know, because we're getting close to Tisha B'Av, so obviously the topic that is the main topic is to understand why we are still in Galut, why we're still in exile. You know, there is a rabbi by name Rabbi Yonatan Eibishitz. You heard about this rabbi before? Rabbi Yonatan Eibishitz. And he says, I don't understand. If you look around, you'll see that the amount of chesed that there is in the world, it's unbelievable. It's unreal. And Baruch Hashem, it's only growing. In nowadays, you have gemach. Gemach, it's people that are organized to help others in all areas. If it is food and needs for babies, if it is for needs for elder people, if it is sick people, if it is chatan and kala, if it is bar mitzvot, if it is seudot, whatever you want, there is chesed. How many times we got into a campaign of somebody that it really needs and unfortunately passed through a tragedy? You don't donate? You don't try to help? Says Rabbi Yonatan Eibishitz, what's going on? So if they're telling us that Beit HaMikdash got destroyed because of Sinat Chinam, Chesed is the opposite of Sinat Chinam. So if we're doing so much Chesed, what's wrong with us? Actually, this week, somebody told me something unbelievable. And we saw the miracle with our own eyes. This guy wanted to help one of the Avrechim. Okay, he wanted to help him. How? By giving him, paying him Uber. True story, I saw it with my own eyes. Uber. But the Avrech, obviously, doesn't want to take from anybody, nothing. This guy invented a story. He told me, I invented it. I went to the Avrech and I told him, listen, because I get it with points, I don't know what, I got a credit of a large amount of money for Uber that I don't use. Please use it. Now the Avrech got the sketch. Okay? And he told him, no, I'm fine. Thank you. The guy tells me, comes 2 days after, and he tells me, Rabbi, you're not going to believe. Never happened in my life. I actually just got a credit from Uber out of nowhere, and he shows me on his phone, I don't know how much money, maybe $100, okay, or $150 of credit by Uber, randomly. He says, I show it to the Avrech was in shock. So I told him, at the end of the day, you wanted so much to do. I said, Borei Olam is going to open up exactly what you want. Borei Olam is not limited. But Rabotai, there is so much chesed. Baruch Hashem, and Kenny the Bay. And then Mashiach is not here. Still we're in Galut. Why? What is missing? Says Rabbi Yonatan Eibishitz that we're misunderstanding Ahavat Chinam. Ahavat Chinam is not just to do Chesed. Ahavat Chinam is to do spiritual Chesed. Listen to what I'm saying? Says Rabbi Yonatan Eibishitz, at the time of the Beit HaMikdash, before the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash, started to be a situation that people were doing things that weren't correct. And other people, they just looked at it and they let it pass and they let it go. And slowly started to become groups like the Tzdukim, Baitusim, all of these people that they started, since nobody says anything, and sees there is no real care about what the other one is passing through, so slowly, slowly started to be groups. And that was what happened at the end of the destruction. Open up the Gemara in Masechet Gitin with Biryonim, that inside Yerushalayim they were killing each other. Inside Yerushalayim there was a disaster. How do we get to that point? At the moment that we don't take care of the spiritual life of my friend. Obviously, we have to know how to do it. And coming to rebuke other people, that's another way. And the Gemara says, "Keshem sheyesh mitzvah lomar davar nishma," the same way that there is an obligation to say to someone to fix something wrong, okay? There is a mitzvah not to say to someone that is not going to listen. That's for sure. But how much we are worried and we do action to help people that are far away from Torah and Mitzvot. If you continue your life, yeah, I know them, I know, yeah, ma lasot. Ma lasot, it's actually, I cut myself from him. Halas, I'm not a part of him. Let him do whatever he wants to do. I continue with my life. I'm not connected. But if a person understands that our love, ahavat chinam, it's all the way. So when someone is doing something incorrect, I had to step in. But who I am? I'm nobody. You're nobody. And if that would happen with somebody in the family, you will say, I'm nobody. Or you will do an effort. A couple of years ago, somebody called me up. He had his cousin from his mother's side, I don't know what. The Lo Aleinu, he passed away, and the family wanted to burn him. And he was crazy. I don't know how to stop it. And he's right. Now they were completely not connected, not affiliated, nothing. But when it's somebody that is close to you, you care. So if you care, if that's true, that should be true with any other Jew, any other person. So if you see someone that is not connected, it's our obligation to do ahavat chinam to bring them in. And that's missing, says Rabbi Abraham Azancot. This, it's not taking enough care. You know, that brings me to the idea we have in this week's parasha. Ele devarim asher diber Moshe el kol Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu is in the final lap. He's about to pass away. Writing down Sefer Devarim, Mishneh Torah, he starts Ele devarim asher diber Moshe el kol Yisrael. And then, those are the words that Moshe Rabbeinu said to all of Am Yisrael. And the Torah is not telling me what. במדבר, בערבה, מו, סוף, בין פרענו, ותופל ודבר נחצות די זהב. What is this? What is Moshe Rabbeinu trying to say? And Rashi explains, those were places that Moshe Rabbeinu hint Am Yisrael. He told them, guys, you remember the scenes that you made Bamidbar? You remember the scenes Ba'arava, Mo Suf, in front of Yam Suf that you complained? Ben Parano, Ben Tofel, Di Zahav, the Egen Azav. You remember those things? Moshe Rabbeinu finds the last moment to say goodbye by rebuking. Let me ask you a question. That's a nice way to say goodbye? Usually by saying goodbye, it's finding all the nice and all the beauty. But Rabotai, Moshe Rabbeinu was a real leader. And a real leader, he doesn't try to be nicely in his name. A real leader cares about his people. And Moshe Rabbeinu found that right now is the moment to rebuke, to be able to see proper results. But at the same time, Moshe Rabbeinu rebukes with a hint. Chazal is saying, from Moshe Rabbeinu we should learn how to say things to others. No one likes to be rebuked. No one. Who likes to hear that how bad you are and how terrible you did and that's a disaster? Nobody likes it. So what we're not going to say? We should not try to change that situation? You should. But how? Do the same way that Moshe Rabbeinu did. With hints, indirect. Let the other one process it. But you cannot sit down and say, Shalom Alayna Shia, I'm doing my own life, I'm doing my own thing. That's an amazing connection. So Rabbi Natan Eibishitz. In between this week's parasha and Tisha B'Av. Parashat Devarim, it's always connected to Tisha B'Av. By the way, there is other connections. This is the only parasha in the Torah. Not the only, Mechila. Two parashiot in the Torah. That the word Echa, Ayeka we had by Bereshit. The word Echa appears in this week's parasha. How can I carry by myself all the fights and all the situations that you guys are holding? The same word that we start Megillat Echa. But what's the connection? The connection is whenever there is no connection in between us, whenever there is no real care, I don't look at the other Jew like he's my son, like he's my brother, like he's somebody that I should be involved in taking care of what's happening. I wanna change the situation. If we don't take it that way, then Borei Olam is asking us, Echa, how come? Where were you? What happened? So let's take upon ourselves, Be'ezat Hashem, a little bit of chizuk, not only to do chesed with our money, with our body, but actually to do chesed with our neshama. Let's try to pray. If you cannot do any action, pray. Pray for somebody else. Take care of him. Think about him. And that Be'ezat Hashem will show the love, the true love in between Am Yisrael, and will help us to be zocheh to the Binyan Bet HaMikdash very, very soon. Amen. K'nei Ratzon. Rabbi Hananiah, there is minyan, Mashiach et Amecha uvarech et nachalatecha. רבי חנניה בן הגשיה אומר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל, לפיכך הרבה להם תורה ומצוות שנים על אדוני חפץ למען צדקו ידיד תורה וידיד